Hello everyone, my name is Christopher Liam Rose. I'm an author, mentor, life coach, motivational speaker, evangelist, musician and activist. In this audio we're going to be talking about the importance of spiritual change. Now, spiritual change is the most important thing in life. As human beings, we must go through a spiritual change. Spiritual change is when you spiritually change your psyche and your psychological mind, and when you discover your faith and spirituality. This is what spiritual change is all about. Now, it's important to realize that as human beings, we need to go through a spiritual change. And when you spiritually change, what really happens when you spiritually change is that you spiritually help other people in what they're going through, give back and make a difference. And all parts of your life spiritually change. Now, it's important to realize that if we really want to understand the importance of spiritual change, we must go through the 5 spiritual practices, which are prayer, mindfulness, meditation, journaling, and walking. So, again, the 5 spiritual practices: prayer, meditation, mindfulness, journaling, and walking. When we go through the 5 spiritual practices, we develop the qualities of spiritual change and we develop the qualities within ourselves. Why is spiritual change so important, and what is the importance of spiritual change? Number 1, spiritual change helps you to find your faith and spirituality. Number 2, spiritual change helps you to discover the no self and selflessness. Number 3, spiritual change helps you to spiritually help other people in what they're going through. Number 4, spiritual change connects you to Jesus Christ, Jehovah, and Buddha. Number 5, spiritual change is important in faith, spirituality, and life. And you'll gain spiritual knowledge and wisdom and spiritual understanding about all of life, and you'll understand who you are as a human being. So it's very, very important to go for a spiritual change, and we must go for a spiritual change. Jehovah, Jesus Christ, and God and Buddha want you to go for a spiritual change. They want you to go for a spiritual change so you're able to do the work of ministry and able to do the work of what's really important in life. Jehovah's will is for all human beings to spiritually change. And when we spiritually change, we'll be living a life for what Jehovah wants us to live. And we'll be doing what Jehovah wants us to do. Jehovah is the Lord God of all creation, and Jehovah has created you on earth for a certain purpose and for a certain calling. The only way you can discover your spiritual life purpose and spiritual calling is when you go through a spiritual change. So this is why spiritual change becomes so important. Helping other people, giving back and making a difference is important work to do. It's by far the most important work to do. And in my audios and my messages and my content, I'm always trying to inspire people to help other people, give back and make a difference. It's important we realize that we shouldn't be living a life for ourselves. We should be living a life for others. And when you give your life to others, where you spend time working towards helping other people, giving back and making a difference, when you spend time in honoring your relationship with Jesus Christ, Jehovah, and Buddha, and when you spend time in doing the work of ministry and doing the work of helping other people, this becomes important in spiritual change. Also, an important thing with spiritual change is that it ends suffering, pain, and adversity, and you find spiritual freedom and spiritual liberation. So this is why spiritual change becomes the most important thing. I really want to encourage the listeners who are listening to this podcast and this audio, please go for a spiritual change. So when you go for a spiritual change, you'll do the work of helping other people, giving back and making a difference. And there's 5 levels of helping other people, giving back and making a difference. So what are the 5 levels of helping other people, giving back and making a difference? Level 1, volunteering, the good level in helping others. Level 2, jobs, careers and employment, the great level in helping other people. Level 3, business and entrepreneurship, the highest level in helping other people. Level 4, spiritual and faith levels in helping other people, the spiritual level in helping other people. And then level 5, spiritually helping other people who help other people, the teaching level in helping other people. Now, we must go on this journey, we must go through this process, right? And like I said in my audios and my messages, spiritual change is a process, that you go through. If you make the choice and the decision to go for a spiritual change, number one, you'll go through the journey of freeing yourself from suffering, pain, and adversities. Number two, you'll free yourself from any disappointments, hardships, challenges, problems you face within your life. Number three, you'll be more aware of who you are as a human being. Then number four, you'll discover the no self and selflessness. Now, spiritual change is also important in no self and selflessness. We must go through the spiritual change in order to discover that. If we don't go through a spiritual change in order to discover no self and selflessness, it means we live a life for ourselves and all our life will be based on ourselves. But once we go through the spiritual change in a journey, we change from the self into the no self. And the no self is a life which isn't about you anymore. As you're living day to day in daily life, your life is about the spiritual contributions you make into others and the differences you make into people's lives. And that becomes the most important thing of all. If we want to live our spiritual legacy now, it's important to understand that spiritual change is the most important thing in life. The importance of spiritual change is that you must change yourself before you can help other people in what they're going through. That's why spiritual change becomes the most important thing. So my encouragement in this audio and in this podcast today, please go through a spiritual change. This will transform your life in every single way. I'm not going to say that life doesn't come with its difficulties and challenges neither, because it always does. But when you spiritually change, you will live a completely different life and you will understand yourself as a human being. So my message is simple. Spiritually change. Do the 5 spiritual practices daily. Do the 5 levels of helping other people. And you will be making a massive difference and a massive contribution into people's lives. And spiritual change is the future. Spiritual change is the future of humanity, animals, and the universe. All human beings must go through a spiritual change. So I hope this message has helped. I hope it inspires a lot of people that listen to this message. And it's very simple. Go for a spiritual change and go through the process. Okay, thank you now. Thank you for listening. Have a good day now. Take care now. Bye-bye.